need inequalities to represent a range of values. For example, let's say you like to order coffee in the morning and you want to make sure you have at least 12 ounces to wake you up, but you don't want to have more than 16 ounces of coffee because it upsets your stomach. For another example, have you ever heard of Scoville units? This is the scale used to measure the heat in chili peppers. The Serrano chili pepper is one of the milder chilies, and it rates less than 23,000 Scoville units. But the ghost chili pepper is one of the hottest peppers, and it can range over 800,000 Scoville units. When we want to use inequalities to measure ranges of values either between two numbers or outside of two numbers, we call these compound inequalities. So let's dive right into our notes for compound inequalities. Once again, a relatively short vocabulary. However, I do want to point out that if you notice, the and the or are capitalized because for this lesson, those are going to be considered mathematical terms. So sometimes you'll see them in caps, sometimes you won't. But I want you to realize that these are and or in terms of math. So our first definition, compound inequalities are two inequalities joined by the words and or. And for the two types of inequalities, and compound inequalities include only shared points as solutions. These are usually shaded between two endpoints. Or compound inequalities use all shaded points as solutions. They usually are shaded in opposite directions. So for our first example, we are going to graph x is less than 2 with, on the same number line, we're going to do x is greater than or equal to -3 and see what happens. So I'm going to use red to graph the x is less than 2. So open circle at 2, and I'll use a highlighter to shade below that. So there we go. I'll use blue to shade the other graph, so x, so here's -3. It's a closed circle because there's an equal to. I'll use my highlighter and I'll shade the other direction. So what values do they both share? So you can see right here between -3 to +2, the two shaded parts overlapped. And since the -3 is filled in, I'm going to put including 3. So it doesn't include -2, but it does include -3. All right, and then what values are shaded all together? Well, all together, this is everything's shaded. So everything, but in math, we call that all real numbers. And sometimes you can use the pound sign to mean numbers. So that's just a little shortcut instead of writing out the word numbers. So the difference between these two questions is the first question is, what values do they both share? So it's everything that's and below below 2 and above -3. So that's and. The second one is what values are shaded all together. So this would be an or, and the reason why it's any number that's either less than 2 or greater than -3, and that's all the numbers as we can see here. So that's the difference between an and or an or. An and is where does it overlap, an or is what do they both represent altogether. Either one could make that true. Let's see how this is going to be slightly different on our next one. So this time I'm going to use green to graph x is less than -1. So here's -1, and then with my highlighter, I'm going to shade everything less than that. Using orange for 4, this is once again a closed circle for 4, and it says everything greater than 4, so we'll go that direction. So same type of question, what values do they both share? And the answer to this is none. Okay, so since this one is none, we could also say no solution is how we would say that in math. Then for the second question, what values are shaded all together, like total? So that would be anything less than -1, or, remember that, or anything greater than 4. It's also important that we put including 4, because the 4 what did have an equal sign, and we did bubble in that circle. So the whole point of going through this exercise was for you to understand when something is an and compound inequality, when it's an or compound inequality. So this first one was really an example of an and the second one was really an example of an or. An easy way to remember when it's an or is because it's shaded outside the 2 points. The and is between this and that. So that's one way to remember it. So here's how we write a compound inequality, and it's actually quite easy. This one, by the way, would be considered an and. And you can see it's between -3 and, or sorry, -9 and 3. And this one I like to sometimes call a sandwich. So just really, you're going to write the -9. You can see that's the least number, so the lowest number. So that's going to be less than with no equal sign. Then you can pick any variable you want, but x is easy. And the x is shaded in between. So anything that's shaded is the x value. And we can see the x is less than 3. So this is called a condensed form. It's really, really easy to do. It always starts with the endpoint on the left, ends with the endpoint on the right. The variable goes to the middle. It's always less than. It's really important. Always use less than symbols there. This next one is an or graph, and you know that it's or because it's shaded outside the 2 endpoints. And you cannot do condensed with an or. You have to write each statement separately. So you have to write this one first. That's going to be x is less than or equal to, because that's circles filled in, -2. And then you're literally going to write the word or, and x is greater than 3. And that would be your compound statement here.